Did Mase just sign to Death Row Records? What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again for another Talking Facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. CLBMG all day, every day. Mase just put up a video on his own page. I didn't Google this and no rumor report, nothing like that. Mase put a video up saying he just signed to Death Row Records. He said he in LA or Cali somewhere, and he was on his way to meet with Snoop to finalize paperwork, and he was going to be the first bad boy artist to sign to Death Row Records. Let's talk about it. Like, listen, we know Mase going through some stuff with Fabio, and he, every time he does something viral and makes a splash, he got to go do mad interviews. Like when he dissed Cameron, he came out with the Oracle, which we all can agree was a fire diss record. Is going to go down as one of the top 50 diss records of all times, right? Which, by the way, Cameron refutes a lot of the information that Mase wrote in that rap. He says most of it wasn't true, but that's neither here nor there. When Mase gets these viral moments, he uses them to his advantage. When he did that viral moment, he went on a tour, he jacked his prices up, and started just being a little more visible, went on Angie Martinez, just doing a lot of stuff because he went viral. Now he went viral again with this Fabio Foreign information coming out about him giving Fabio Foreign a $5,000 advance to sign to his production company, which when you peel back the layers, he ended up pocketing apparently $800,000 because he got Fabio $1.5 million advance to sign with Columbia. So the $5,000 ended up being a moot point, and I believe these guys are somewhat going to work it out because apparently there's a snippet of a Fabio Foreign song where he's going to use Mase's old song, Tell Me What You Want. It's a sample that he's going to use from that song. So maybe they are reconciling. They might even do a track together. End of the day, Mase was in a video that he posted on his own page eating a donut, claiming he got this the last donut he's going to eat, and he's going to do 2 a days for 2 weeks and getting in shape. Got the donut all over his face, and he's saying, it's the last one. Everybody, when you see me next time, I'm going to be full rock solid. And I'm on my way to finalize this deal with Snoop. Now, we all know that Snoop has acquired Death Row Records. I believe it was either earlier this year, if not last year. I think it was this year. He snatched all the music off streaming services, and he was supposed to be making an app that you can only hear Death Row. Well, not only, but you can hear Death Row music on this app. I think that may be, we'll see how it play out, but I think that may be a mistake, right? Because a lot of people don't like downloading new apps, and a lot of people already they already have enough music apps on their phone, right? But we'll see. Maybe it'll work out because I don't know if Death Row has enough catalog to make people only go to one space to hear all Death Row. I don't know if it sounds good in theory, and we'll see. We need somebody to buck the system and challenge these streaming services at this point because they are paying peanuts. We can all agree on that. Snoop bought the catalog for a couple mil, and now it's going to be up to him to recoup that money because I'm sure he had investors and people on the board that's sitting there waiting on that money to come back around. And I don't believe Suge Knight has any involvement as far as monetarily, financially. I don't think he's a consultant. I don't think Suge is involved in this at all. So Snoop is trying to recoup his money with Death Row. Now, we also know that Snoop has been asked to revive Def Jam at the same time. So Snoop is working both companies. He's working Death Row on the West, and he's working Def Jam on the East. As a matter of fact, I believe he just signed somebody back to Def Jam. I cannot remember offhand right now. Somebody just went and said they talked to Snoop about signing to Def Jam. And maybe Griselda. Maybe somebody over there in Griselda is running with Def Jam now because on the strength of Snoop. But that's neither here nor there. Snoop is reviving it. And now, what would be a power move? Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to be 100%. I got to be 100% real with you. This is a power move 20 years ago. Mase going to Death Row Records. Right now, Death Row Records is almost, for lack of a better word, I'm going to use this word, irrelevant, right? Until Snoop bring it back, all we got is the stuff from the 90s that we saying is great. That's it. So it ain't really no Death Row Records. It's the music that was made on Death Row Records before. But Death Row Records as a staff, a label, and as a company, that don't even exist. That was owned by Hasbro Toys not too long ago. Hasbro Toys owned Death Row Records, the catalog. So it wasn't a company. So Mase being from Bad Boy Records, right? And Mase doing this almost as a petty move because he got an issue with Diddy. I could see if Suge was still alive and he ran over to Death Row, then it'd be front page news. But right now, we will have to remain and see because I don't even know Mase in and of itself, power of making music in and of itself. This almost is necessary for both of these people to be relevant at this point. Now, Snoop has never not been relevant, right? Snoop has been relevant for years, and Snoop is Uncle Snoop. He ain't never going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So he not doing this for relevancy. But Death Row, to make Death Row relevant, he probably would pull in no less than 10, 15 elder statesmen. I would say if it was me, if I'm Snoop, right? Yes, pulling in Mase would be a major coup. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he has no beef with Diddy, no problem with Diddy at all, but it would be, in the annals of hip-hop, it would be, wow, a bad boy artist signed to what used to be Death Row Records. That would be, like I said, 20 years ago. Even 15 years ago, no, it still wouldn't have mattered. But at the end of the day, that's where Mase is saying he's going. If that's true, they got a lot of work to do, right? That probably is the only label that could make enough noise to make people check for Mase again. But what are you going to do? Death Row was so popular because of their gang affiliation, the way they carried the label like a mob, and the way they steamrolled the industry. It wasn't just the music, because you knew with that music, it was a whole lot of muscle behind it. So you knew when they rolled through, it was a problem. So Death Row doesn't feel like that right now. So you need to restore it, not to that angry, aggressive feeling that we used to get with Suge Knight, but as far as sonically, the music sound, right? The closest thing to restoring the West Coast was Nipsey. Yeah, you got YG and you got The Game and this and that, but Nipsey was putting that feeling back into the West Coast. He was bringing that battery back. I said that a few years ago, that Nip was the one putting the battery back in the West Coast. And he's gone 2 years now. So maybe even 3, I'm not sure. But this is not the coup that everyone thinks it's going to be. We have to be very clear. Death Row ain't Death Row no more. Mase ain't Mase no more. As a matter of fact, Mase, last song I heard from Mase was the track he dissed Diddy, and that was absolute trash. Absolute garbage. If he said the engineer threw the auto-tune on, some young boys like, you gotta put auto-tune on that. And he's like, yeah. And he threw it on and he let it rock. That's a terrible decision. First of all, you're a rapper. You're not a new rapper. You're a rapper from back when they used to spit. You're not supposed to let them throw that on there like that and leave it for you to sound all crazy. That's not your lane. So if you're going to be letting these people just make these random decisions for you, right? Just throwing anything in the mix and you're like, yeah, because somebody young saying that that's what's hot, that album ain't going nowhere. You're going to need to be actually convinced of what your sound is going to be. You've never made a song like that is what I'm saying. He's never made a song like that. So when you come out of nowhere, we're expecting to hear your voice and all we hear is overwarped vocals with a lot of extra stuff on it and we can barely make out what you're saying and you're really not saying much anyway, it's going to shock the system. So if you go over to that regime, and I know Snoop is still doing real rap. So you're going to have to do real rap over there, right? Not saying it's not real rap, but what I'm saying is that's not your lane. So if what I'm hearing with that last diss record is going to be what you're doing, you might as well not do anything. And so at the end of the day, to restore Death Row to what it's going to be, I don't see it if Mase doesn't come with the old Mase stuff, right? Even when he tried to come back with Welcome Back, that was okay, but it was lukewarm, right? He never returned to the witty, gritty Mase that we knew what he could do. Murder Mase. We don't even need Murder Mase. We don't need Murder Mase or Pastor Mase. We just need Mase, right? If he can return to some bars and get us, licking our chops for, oh, you hear what he said? That's the only way. And some really cool music that can capture the vibe right now without trying to imitate it. That's the only way it can work. Death Row and Mase really don't mix to me. It don't sound right. It doesn't sound like two things that need to mix together. Death Row and Mase. It doesn't. Death Row is Death Row. That's some hard, grimy stuff. Mase is mad, shiny suit, very laid back, trying to bang some ladies. So it's different. I don't see how it's going to work. Let's see how it play out. We're going to watch and see if this is real. Maybe it was trolling. It could have been trolling. It could have been just trolling and seeing if we bite the bait. I don't know. You let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG.com. Make sure you check us out every Wednesday night on all platforms of CLBMG for Clash the Podcast. All right? New music is out. New gear. We got new merchandise. Go to CLBMG.com. Check out what we're doing. I'm going to catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.
CLB.